Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to a brand new series, I guess, which I've given the rather cheesy title of Garage Gossip. I love a bit of alliteration. Basically, I know that there are some of you who love a bit of silly season speculation, see, alliteration, and those of you who do not. Therefore, I thought it was probably best to keep the news and rumours separate. All I'm going to do is go over a rumour and then give my thoughts on it. So let's get started then. There have been a number of rumours swirling around over the last week regarding Esteban Ocon. Now, let's be honest, Esteban has and will continue to be linked with just about every seat on the grid until he either gets a drive somewhere or announces that he's done with motorsport and takes up figure skating. The latest in a long line of rumours is that he is set to join Haas in place of the underperforming Romain Grosjean. And it is reported that Gunther Steiner is at his wit's end and that the collision between his two drivers at Silverstone was the final straw, with him now apparently looking to make a change. The first report or rumour that I read on all of this actually surfaced a couple of weeks ago with French media saying that Ocon was being lined up for 2020 as a replacement for Grosjean, but last night a post appeared on the F1 subreddit from someone claiming that they had a source with high-level access who had told them that Steiner was so angry with his drivers after their collision that he's asked Gene Haas for permission to make a lineup change, and apparently that he's aiming to bring Ocon in as a replacement for Grosjean by next week's German Grand Prix. So we have some reports claiming that he's set to join Haas for 2020, another claiming he's actually set to make his F1 return next week, and others saying that actually Haas are lining up Sergio Perez as a replacement for Rogro, with Ocon returning to Racing Point to partner Lance Stroll. About as clear as mud then. Of course, again, I know this is all rumour before it inevitably gets pointed out, but that's why it's in a video called Garage Gossip. What we can say with certainty though is that Grosjean is under massive pressure and he has not been performing. Luck has gone against him at times this season, but when the luck has been on his side, he has failed to deliver. Personally, whether it's by Germany, the summer break, or the end of 2019, I can't shake the feeling that this is Romain's final year in F1. As for the rumours regarding Ocon, well, as I said at the start, Esteban Ocon will be linked with pretty much every available seat until he lands in one. I mean, who has he been linked with lately? Williams, Mercedes, Racing Point, Renault, Red Bull, and now Haas. It's madness. Do I think he will be in that Haas at Hockenheim? No, and that's what my gut's telling me at the moment. Alright, if a team are keen to get a driver in one of their seats, they can get everything in place pretty quickly, but it does seem unlikely that they will be able to get it done within the next week. I'm not saying it can't be done, of course, I'm just saying that it will be tight. The thing is, it's not totally straightforward. He is a Mercedes driver and some teams turned him down last year because, to sort of paraphrase Christian Horner, why invest your time, money and effort into developing somebody else's driver? That being said, George Russell is at Williams, so not all teams take that view. Wolff has said recently that he would be willing to release Ocon if that helps him get back into F1 or at least helps him to get his career back on track. The other thing is that Haas have strong Ferrari links, so I can imagine they will prefer to take him as a free agent. Then again, I guess it depends on how desperate they are to ditch Grosjean. Or are they going to be willing to take a driver tied to Mercedes if it means that there is the potential, if you like, for their season to improve? Personally, I feel like if a change does come mid-season, it is more likely going to happen during the summer break. Having said that though, putting myself in Gunther Steiner's position, I'm not totally sure I'd want to go into another race weekend with an underperforming driver, knowing I've already got an underperforming car, and the same two teammates who ruined each other's races last time out. I will add at this point, in case you didn't see the debrief on Monday, I still think that incident was just one of those first lap things. But if any team didn't need that, it was Haas, and if any driver didn't need that, it was Grosjean. And by the way, no, Kevin Magnussen has not been particularly brilliant so far in 2019, but he has still been head and shoulders above Romain in terms of performance, speed, and as the championship table shows, points. If that car is capable of challenging the top end of the midfield, I believe K-Mag will deliver. I do not feel that when I look at Rogro. I do wonder if Haas might look to a Ferrari-backed driver or a Ferrari-linked driver. Conrad O'Keefe did actually mention over on Twitter last night that perhaps Pascal Wehrlein could be an option. And yeah, why not? He has performed well in Formula E this season. And let's face it, now that that's over for Season 5, he's got some free time now. So maybe he could fill that seat until at least the end of the year. I doubt it will happen, but it's a fair shout. As are the Perez rumours, to be fair. Checo brings money and let's face it, Haas are going to get sod all from Rich Lightning Energy Vault Limited anytime soon. So that could help fill that void. And before you say it, yes, I know Gene Haas ain't short of a bob or two, and the team maybe don't need that money, but it's still money they were relying on that's not going to turn up. Now, whether a move for Perez would happen mid-season obviously remains to be seen, otherwise this would be in a video called Breaking News Perez Moves to Haas. But frankly, in my view, that is less likely than Ocon moving to Haas for Germany. I should say, just to address, I guess, that rumour of Esteban's return to Racing Point. If, and it is a big if, Perez leaves, I'm pretty confident Ocon's return will be nailed on. He knows the team, he is good friends with Stroll, so should be a fairly harmonious environment. And Racing Point do have those Merc ties, so Toto won't have to release his driver. It's kind of perfect for all of those parties. Anyway, I'm wandering off as usual, so let's summarise. Do I think Esteban Ocon will be racing for Haas in Germany? No, I just can't see it. But I also wouldn't be totally surprised because something needs to change in that team. And to be fair, it needs to change quickly. The car, I believe, has good pace. It shows it in qualifying, but it isn't working with the tyres and it isn't where it should be. So the last thing they need is a driver underperforming. They need to know that should that car's issues get sorted, they have got two drivers capable of delivering its potential. Do I think it will happen at the summer break or before the end of the season? It is more likely than Germany, and I can't help but feel that it kind of has to. So I guess maybe. I think I prefer to say that Grosjean will be lucky to see out the rest of the season, but that doesn't mean that it must be Ocon in that seat. There are plenty of drivers out there who could replace him until the end of the year, maybe even Sergei Sirotkin. I mean, he does already have his feet under the table at two teams, so why not a third? And he also has money, just saying. As for 2020, as I've already said, this is probably Grosjean's final year in F1 and you would have to pick me up off the floor if he's still in a Haas next season. Quite frankly, he's lucky he was given this one. What waiting until 2020 does do is open up even more options for Haas. As I've already said, Perez, and then there's maybe Hülkenberg. Some media have put that rumour out there already. Perhaps Gasly should Red Bull decide to get rid of him. Kvyat might even be a possibility. He had those Ferrari tyres not so long ago. The point is, there are plenty of other options. When it comes to Ocon though, I don't really see the point in saying too much more because if things carry on the way they are in all the gossip columns, he's probably going to dominate this silly season, but I feel like it's a case of when, not if he returns. Haas would be a decent option for him to get sort of back into the swing of things on track, but as I've already said, it's all going to come down to whether or not Merc will release him or if Haas will be willing to take him whilst he's still under contract with them. What I will say though is that if Toto wants to avoid Esteban becoming the next Wehrlein, he needs to decide what he's going to be doing sooner rather than later. It's just my opinion, but I think that the ship has sailed when it comes to Ocon's chances of ending up driving a Mercedes anytime soon. One, because Bottas is performing, and two, because they have George Russell developing nicely at Williams. So maybe releasing Ocon now is the right thing to do for his career, whether that's in F1 or elsewhere. They are just a few of my thoughts on it all then, but what do you think? In the top right of the screen, hidden behind that eye, is a poll so you can all have your say. Do you think Esteban Ocon will replace Romain Grosjean before the end of this season? You can also, of course, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Now, I will be back later this week with that channel update video that I keep banging on about. But after that, the next video will be out next week as I start gearing up for the German Grand Prix. Only 2 races left until the summer break. How fast has this season gone so far? In the meantime, though, you can, of course, follow me over on social media, and all of the links you need for that are in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.